Fair enough. Okay, good evening and welcome. This is the May 12th meeting of the school committee. Call the meeting to order 5:36. This meeting is being both audio and video recorded. I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if we could do a roll call, Emmanuel, if you could start.
Manuel Garcia, student representative.
Amy DeLenta.
William Strother.
Antonella Rochilla.
Gregory Thompson.
Gordon Smith, Superintendent of Schools.
Sarah Trulio.
Pamela Blair, Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Okay, thank you all. We have minutes for approval. I would take a motion, please.
The April 28th, 2025 executive session meeting minutes.
Motion made by Sarah. Second by Antonella. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0.
To approve the April 28th, 2025 regular session meeting.
Motion made by Sarah, second by William. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Carries 5-0. Thank you, Samantha. Committee and subcommittee communications. Manuel, would you like to start that as well?
Sure. Last Wednesday was the spring concert. Featured high school groups from the chorus, jazz band, and concert band. That was a really nice concert. My last concert ever. It was really nice. And then the high school prom was on Friday, and that was a really nice event.
Very nice. You play saxophone?
Trumpet.
Cool. Very cool. Thank you. Amy.
I just wanted to share that I was able to attend the Diversity and Equity Steering Committee meeting. I wasn't able to stay the entire time, but we were able to have some good conversation talking about outreach, partnerships, partnering with different colleges. And I think Heather's going to be leading the charge for some of that as well. So I think more information will be forthcoming.
Great. Thank you, William.
Nothing to report this time.
Okay.
Nothing at this
Antonella?
time.
Sarah.
I had the meeting with the collaborative last week. We talked about the Educator Support Personnel Awards, and they've been notified.
Yeah. And they'll be recognized again at the recognition reception on June 12th, which will be exciting because it's a new addition to our whole set of recognition and awards.
We had 2 individuals this year. We also talked about the banquet for the educators. That's this week, I believe.
The Grinspoon?
No, no, recognition night.
The recognition reception.
Oh, that's June.
Yeah, that's June 12th.
In June.
Yeah.
And then we also talked about attendance at professional development sessions, educator attendance at professional development sessions. And then I was able to attend the lacrosse senior night, which was slightly delayed because of thunder and lightning, but they did end up having the game after, and they came out with a win, which is great. So
They're having a great season.
Mhm.
Yeah,
we're having a
great.
nice season, yes.
Okay, thank you all. And now we have an opportunity for visitors to address the committee. Davis. You just introduce yourself for us.
I am Megan Davis, 6th grade English at Birchland Park Middle School. I recognize the face here at the table. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak on behalf of my colleagues. I'm going to read a letter written by all of the 6th grade teachers at Birchland Park Middle School. And I will tell you that I'm reading the abridged version for the sake of time tonight, but people feel pretty passionately about what I'm going to share with you. And so I did email the full letter with everybody, so you can read that in more detail. So we're writing to express our disappointment at the elimination of the computer program at Birchland Park Middle School. We have seen the benefits of this course across all of our subject areas, and know that it would be a detriment to our students to send them on to high school without the fundamental instruction that they receive there. We know the district has worked diligently to make sure that we're one-to-one when it comes to computers and technology. We were one of the first schools to pilot this format in the area, and we've invested the time and the financial resources to implement it effectively. Without this program, we'll be missing an integral piece for our students. Learning how to use the technology safely and effectively in the middle school classroom and beyond, and how to navigate the 21st century digital age as informed and responsible students. And here in the original letter, we sort of broke out and each department wrote to you, but I've kind of summed it up in bullet points. So it says, in the core classes, we see the positive impact of this course on a daily basis. It's immediately apparent to us when a student has completed the middle school computer course because we see their efficiency and accuracy improve dramatically. They're able to correctly use the Google Suite, effectively organize their Google Drive, write formal emails to advocate for their own learning, create engaging and polished multimedia presentations, execute basic keyboarding and word processing skills with accuracy, apply math concepts like basic computation, fractions, formulas, and data organization in a real-world context. So things like using spreadsheets to create budgets and conversion formulas. They're able to more easily grasp abstract math concepts through visualization and modeling, such as charts and graphs, and to type equations, use functions, and make calculations with increased efficiency and accuracy. So this course builds stronger students across the subject areas by reinforcing writing skills, improving numeracy, and strengthening the use of logic and precision when it comes to checking work, which again is important in all of their classes. With the elimination of this program, we'll lose these benefits as well as important instructional time. Focus on computer-based tasks such as formatting, organizing files, and remediating mistakes due to an inability to type accurately. The elimination of this program especially applies to our special education population, many of whom have IEPs that legally require the use of computer-based tools. The middle school special education teachers see the immediate correlation between the computer science class and carrying those skills over to the students' academic core classes. These skills directly impact their ability to function and become independent in an already technology-driven school setting at the middle school level. Not being taught the various tools and how to access and apply this knowledge to help them would absolutely take away from their successful performance at Birchland Park Middle School. There's a misconception that because young people spend so much time in technology, that they have learned to navigate it adequately. However, their technology use is more social media based than academic or professional. We depend on our middle school computer courses to address the DLCS standards. We're advocating for the retention of this course because it embodies the mission statement of East Longmeadow Public Schools to promote achievement and accountability in all endeavors as we educate today for challenges tomorrow. And that is from your sixth grade staff at Birchland Park Middle School.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you for writing this. It's certainly the last paragraph certainly hits home for me in terms of, use of technology. So, we will take it under advisement and see what we can do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again for coming. Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Okay, moving along, we'll bypass the East Longmeadow High School Program of Studies and put that off for next meeting and move along to the presentation on visit to East Longmeadow Public School International Leadership Program.
Okay. So last Monday, a week ago from today, we had the privilege of hosting 7 educators from Lebanon, working specifically in the Teach for Lebanon program. And they were coming to a number of different states and school districts over their entire visit, but they're being sponsored through the International Visitors Leadership Program. And this was, or is a program that brings educators from around the world. And our ELL teachers have connected with different individuals from this program. And over the last 3 years, we've hosted visitors twice, which is really a great privilege for us. We learn as much as I think they learn. And they specifically were coming in to take a look at how we deal with students who are learning English as a second language. So we had 7 educators from Lebanon and 2 representatives from the IVLP program. This actually got added to, but when I was printing these slides, they started in Washington DC and looking at the Washington DC district schools, then they came to Boston. Because of our connection, they came out to Western Massachusetts and connected with us at Birchland Park Middle School in East Long Meadow. They went on from us, before they went out to Cleveland, I think they went down to Orlando. Maybe they stopped off at some of the theme parks, I don't know. But then eventually did end up heading out to Cleveland. So they got a good wide-ranging look at how different districts within different states look at and implement teaching English as a second language. Specifically for our purposes, last Monday, we were looking at how East Long Meadow Public Schools delivers English learner education, and then how that intersects with special education and what our inclusive practices look like. I think the highlight for them, and certainly the highlight for us, was when we toured classrooms and they had a chance to look at some of our special education classrooms, some of our ELL classes. And one of the educators was a librarian, and so was really interested in talking with our librarian at Birchland Park Middle School, who does an exceptional job. And so I think they spent the entire time together, which was really neat.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it was really neat. Just to give you some pictures, we met in the community room and had a discussion first. There are some of our visitors. You see Mr. Pearson there. He's, I don't know if you see any of our other educators, visitors. That's almost the entire group, but we also have Mr. Giambroni with us. You see Ms. Brown in the picture. As I said, Mr. Pearson, Ms. Steiner, Ms. Paolini, and some of our special educators also joined us, especially on the tour. That actually might be, that's it.
Great. Good opportunity.
It was a great opportunity. It was nice to be highlighted, up there with Boston, Cleveland, Orlando. Then you have East Long Meadow.
World famous.
On the map.
We move right into the other one.
Yes, we have building project update, the high school building project update.
So, a good time to present an update on this is if you've had a chance to take a look, it's really starting to take shape and change in front of our eyes. Obviously, this is the existing building. This is where we hope to go in a few years, and we continue to be on schedule and on budget, which is really, it's really great at this point. Because now we're really getting into purchasing of materials, putting materials up quickly. We know that there are some tariff issues out there, and there's a lot of steel that was utilized and put up over the winter months. But quickly going back, this is where we're going. It's actually starting to take shape.
I know.
And this is even outdated. The pool's starting to frame in too.
Yeah, that's coming up in a later slide.
Oh,
Yeah, so this is just the building itself, but they're really, it's starting to take shape. It's looking like the drawings. You can start to see how it's going to be that original drawing from the beginning of the slideshow. Now they're starting to put up steel studs on the outside walls. This is D-wing. This is another, the corner of D-wing. They're also fireproofing the interior. And they're starting to actually pour the subfloor, the concrete subfloor, both on the first floor. This is something I didn't know about the building trades. And you're also pouring concrete on the second floor.
Yeah.
So that goes on all floors. And obviously firmly sets the floor in place. And then just smoothing out the floor once they have it poured. But here's the natatorium starting to take shape. So they're digging it and you can see the walls, the outside, starting to be formed. That's an aerial view of it. He has some water in it, which is nice.
That's the difference.
I don't think it's chlorinated yet. But then also our concession building is starting to take shape, which is just outside the fence of the existing stadium. So unfortunately, that's not gonna be ready for the fall of next year, but it could be online in the spring of next year. So fall, we'll still have our two concession buildings, but we are hoping to be online in the spring of next year, which is exciting. And then this just gives you a look, an aerial look that they are clearing the space down towards the end of the high school parking lot, the existing parking lot, and getting ready to put new tennis courts there. So that whole end of the parking lot is going to look different as we start up the next school year. And that construction will start happening once school gets out in terms of the actual tennis courts going in and so forth, as they have to move some power lines, as you can see. And they're working on an underground water pipe as well. It's taking shape.
Will that entrance and exit still be there?
Yes.
Yeah.
And not exactly the same way, but for next year, it will be a little bit wider, same spot. And then,
Then it'll all get reconfigured. but
yeah,
yes,
twenty
it'll
twenty-six,
still be
it's gonna be a whole different ballgame.
Very
So
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
It's really exciting.
No, so it's
In the last SPC meeting, we're on time and on budget too, so.
Yeah.
great.
It's very exciting.
Very
No.
Right? For that,
Sure.
next, Assistant Superintendent for Business, we have the April financial
We
report.
do. So I was just here 2 weeks ago giving you the March, so we're doing this one quickly, which is nice. Roll right into April. So as I always say, this report also includes your grants and revolving accounts. If you turn to page 6 is where the spreadsheet is. Salaries are on the top section of the operating budget spreadsheet here. We've gone over all of these as the year since we've been meeting, going over financials every month. So there's not a whole lot to talk about here, except that the substitute, you are going to see that has gone up quite a bit over the last month. And in doing research, I wanted to bring to your attention that we have 16 Unit A leave of absences. And with a long-term sub position on day 31, they go to the Bachelor 1 per diem rate, which is $279.88 compared to $110 per day. So as you can imagine, that starts adding up very quickly. Also, what I wanted to bring to your attention is that the para substitutes are also in that line. So I don't think we're as in terrible shape as what we were thinking last month. I think it has more to do with these long-term sub positions. So when we talk about the transfers, you'll see that we have 73,502 a deficit there. And on the expense side, on the bottom there, you're going to see we have two lines, contracted services, 8,169 deficit, and the out-of-district tuitions, which is 223,817. So the contracted services is basically special ed transportation. There's many things that fall under that category. So those are the three line items that are in the deficit, and we're going to have some of these other line items be able to cover those, and that's things like the nurses and medical staff line, the paraprofessional, the teachers, down the bottom section, the educational supplies. As we talked about, we still have a budget freeze on and we're only ordering essential supplies. I am going to analyze that and go over that with the leadership team and hopefully be able to release a little bit of that back so that we can get some orders done, which always helps us for the beginning of next year as well.
Is it possible to look at where those leaves of absences are, just to get a sense of if any one of the buildings is feeling that in a disproportionate?
Sure, yep, I can tell you that the next time. You're welcome. I did go through each of the paperwork, so I did have them listed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the athletics line item has increased, right? Weren't we running low last time, but sports fees must have come in for this.
Well, that's the revolving. That's the revolving account. So this is athletic.
Salaries.
This is the salary, the coaches, and because we have the 3 seasons and they get paid, halfway through, so you'll see that change next month.
and it'll all get expanded, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yes, I believe so. So, our budget, I always remind everyone, 35,995,126. We have expended to date 26,364,336. We have still encumbered 8,894,690, and that leaves an available balance of $736,101. But we're in much better shape than we were earlier in the year because of all the many things that we've done to prevent it going further. So any other questions on the operating budget? Then the next page are your grants. I listed the prior year grants at the top. Those are pretty self-explanatory. We talked about ESSER 3. IDEA, we're still,
Playground going, is the playground getting?
so they
They use it yet?
They did do a soft opening and let the kids go out there. I think that they had one little issue that they're trying to resolve. I think something was a little sharp on the slide. So, yeah, so they needed to call, so right now it's shut down. I have to be honest, it's shut down so we can make sure to have the vendor come back to make sure everything is, something on the edges, when they put their little hands, someone got a little tiny cut, something was sharp there, so, and I just found that out today. But it did have the soft opening and we're getting there.
They're planting grass seed or are they?
They
Hydro
planted
seeding?
hydro seed, yeah.
That's down?
Yes, it was down like
Good.
3 weeks ago.
So in a month, it's
Exactly.
wide open.
That's what we're hoping.
And we'll let families know, once it's wide open, we should send out to families that it's available.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that, okay.
So then we have our federal grants, which these are all entitlement grants that we go over all the time. They're all on target to be expended by year end. And if not, I always want you to know that we can always roll them over to the next year. But I believe these are all on target to be expended. The grants, the way that they work, I think I've told you before, we expend the grants and then I draw them down monthly. So I'm always looking at them. In fact, it's on my calendar to take a look at tomorrow. So does anyone have any questions on any of the grants? So the next page are your revolving accounts. This is where we have more information. So the athletic revolving account, that's where I put there that there's still about $15,000. I anticipate that of additional revenue that just hasn't been posted yet into Munis for my report. So I believe we'll end up with close to a $5,000 rollover in that account. The next one I want to bring to your attention is the tuition revolving account. That is an intentional balance to offset the FY26 budget. So I just wanted to remind everyone of that. I have great news for Circuit Breaker. We did qualify for extraordinary relief. I gave you a sheet here behind the financial to give you the detail on that. We're getting, and actually it came in early May, $156,031. So this has to be expended in this year, which of course is not a problem because we've already expended it, right? So this is just going to help us with the balance that we can roll over into next year. So I'm very pleased to, to say that. So we still have the FY25 fourth quarter payment coming in of $411,729. plus that 156,000. So as of right now, I'm saying that we're going to roll over 582,888 in Circuit Breaker. Of course, that number I'm sure will change a little bit, but that's my best guess right now. One thing I did want to mention, since I was talking about extraordinary relief, is on that sheet. I just wanted to make mention that a letter was written to Gordon from DESI stating that we did qualify, and it said the statewide extraordinary relief budget was increased 60% for FY25 reimbursement. It went from $5 million to $8 million. However, as I've kind of been alluding to all year long, that I'm a little nervous how many districts are putting in, so many. However, claims came in at a high level, and this was not sufficient to reimburse at the intended rate of 75%. As a result, all reimbursements were prorated, and your district will receive a payment of $156,031 in early May. That is a 39.57% increase. That's reimbursement. So it's a far cry from the 75, but we're glad that we qualified for that. So the next account, the transportation revolving account, I just wanted to, hopefully you all received a notice from us that we had opened up the bus transportation enrollment. So those revenues will start to be coming in, and you'll see that change over the next month or two. Then there's a school lunch, and that has a pretty substantial balance there, $800,000. I did reach out to Lori Paul, our food service director, and she wanted to let you know that there are summer projects to replace the serving lines in all 3 elementary schools at an estimated $45,000 each. Also to replace 5 to 7 milk coolers at an estimated cost of $28,000 each. So she's got these plans behind the scenes and just wanted you to know that.
Additionally, on the food services, they lost a federal grant, or the federal grant was stopped, that allowed them to do more purchasing from local farms, which does cost a little bit more. And so I think food services is looking at how they can still work with those vendors and the local farms, but they would have to do it out of their budget as opposed to out of
Right.
the grant. So that was something that we had a wellness committee this morning, and we had discussed that piece, the loss of their grant and where they go from here.
And the projection is actually lower than last year slightly. The carryover, the 800.
Well, that's the, yes, that's a balance right now.
Right, but is that going to increase or decrease?
It could do both because there's all munis behind, there's payroll, there's her expenses, deposits. So that will change.
So how it appears though is we spend what they spend what they
Yes.
took in this year.
Right.
But we just have a high balance hanging out there.
Correct. Yep.
So the 4 projects that you spoke of, that's 165,000-ish. That still leaves a significant balance. There's not, is that where we potentially use?
I mean, we would use the balance towards that. I don't know if it's, gonna dent that significantly, but certainly that's where they're gonna have to go.
I mean, it just seems like a lot of money to be sitting in that
I thought
account.
there was recommendations for food service accounts in general.
There is, yeah, exactly, which ends up like at least like a 350. And I mean,
Okay,
inflation is higher, salaries are higher. Yeah, it's probably more like a 350. I think
Okay.
before I would say like 285 at a minimum to have in there.
okay. I just remember there was something.
Yeah,
And we're at the minimum required cost for school lunch, right?
yeah, there's like this formula that always has to be looked at.
It's not like we
State.
lower it, although we spent what we took in this year anyway, but okay.
Right, but these numbers are always off a little bit because munis, like payrolls are not posted in there, so it might look like you have higher revenue, but there's actually more expenditures and the warrant, the bills, like haven't touched the general ledger yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the last account there is the school choice account, and we still have April, May, and June payments of $16,069. If I said that right, my glasses on. $16,069. So that's another $48,207, and I'm anticipating then school choice will be at about $376,000 at the end of the year. It's imperative to remember that balances provided are a snapshot in time and are changing constantly. You're welcome.
If there are no motion to accept the April.
April 30th, yep.
Financial report.
Make a motion, April 30th report.
Motion made by Antonella,
Second.
second by Amy, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. That carries 5-0.
Great, thank you.
And then we have some budget transfers.
Right, so this should all make perfect sense to you. The budget transfers, then we transfer from, you can see the line items there, the Unit A teachers, paraprofessional, professional development, supplies, medical therapeutic staff, and the retirement. That totals $305,488, and transfer that to contracted services, that $8,169 deficit, substitute $73,502, out of district tuitions, $223,817 for that total of $305,488.
Questions on the transfers? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the transfers as listed.
Move to approve the fiscal year 25 budget transfers as presented.
Motion made by Sarah.
Second.
By Antonella, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That carries 5-0.
Great, now I'll do those in munis and you'll see those reflected next month.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, moving right along. Business approval of the 2025 Northeast Aerial Drone Middle School Championship in Fairmont, West Virginia, from Wednesday, May 28th through Saturday, May 31st.
So this is actually pretty exciting. We have both our middle school team and then in the next agenda item, our high school team, drone team, qualifying for the championships, the national or championships in West Virginia. So this is Mr. Van Buren, who is their advisor and chaperones, putting together this trip to take the students down to West Virginia for the days that Mr. Thompson just outlined and compete in these championships. Down on the second page of Mr. Van Buren's letter, you have 5 students. The chaperones are parents of those students, including, and then also Mr. Van Buren.
I think they're out of order, right? Because we're talking about the middle school right now. And
Yeah.
isn't he the high school?
He does both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
What's this letter then?
That's just Mr. Pearson saying he
Okay, roger that.
also requesting permission.
I didn't know he was doing both. Thank you.
And so you see that it's a substantial amount that they're putting forth. They do some fundraising, but the money that the families and the students are putting forth on this trip. We also are thankful to the parents because the parents are going. That allows us not to have to staff a nurse, which could have put a wrench into the works of this trip, which is going out of state.
They have to pay 180 and 120.
No, middle school looks like it's 180, no, 120.
180.
Yeah, but then what's the other one? Then the food. Right?
Are you gonna break that here?
Yeah, I think it's the total,
180.
300 total.
roughly 300 total.
The other one.
Yep, it's food's additional.
Okay.
We do need to feed them.
Yes. Usually is.
Might be the highlight for some people, the food.
All right.
Any other questions?
How can I recruit more females?
No,
True.
10 males and 1 female.
she's a senior.
Yeah.
We'll need to.
You're reading ahead. I was just highlighting
Sorry.
the middle school, but that's okay. I mean, I suppose if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson, you could do both motions at once.
Well, they're different dates, so.
True, that is
we should do
true.
Promotions. So I would entertain a motion for the first, if someone wants to make that, please.
So I make a motion to approve the 2025 Northeast Aerial Drone Middle School Championship in Fairmont, West Virginia from Wednesday, May 28th through Saturday, May 31st.
Motion made by William,
Second.
second by Antonella. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. That carries 5-0.
Thank you.
And then we have the high school going as well on different days.
Right. So they're going to be going from Friday to Monday. And they have 6 individuals going, and we broke down male, female just a moment ago. 5 males, 1 female. So we do have to do some recruiting. And the chaperones are 3, 2 parents, 1 coach.
And you approve. Do you have to ask any questions?
I think everybody's good, but thank you for asking if I
Right.
wanted to ask.
I move to approve the 2025 Northeast Aerial Drone High School Championship in Fairmount, West Virginia from Friday, May 30th through Monday, June 2nd.
Excellent. Motion made by Antonella. Second by William. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. That carries 5-0.
Mr. Van Buren, no?
Excellent. Please keep us posted to their
Yeah, if you
results.
had a chance to take a look at their.
I've seen them fly in the
Yeah, they
cafeteria, yeah.
Cafeteria. It's pretty cool that what they're doing in our cafeteria is getting them to the national championships.
If folks want to pull out the program of studies portion and leave it in your mailbox, then we don't have to reprint it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mind?
Way to recycle.
I you said it, and that's why I
Oh.
called your league, so. Thank you, Sarah. And if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Motion made by William, second by Antonella. Any discussion? Aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. That motion carries. Thank you. We are adjourned.